Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed to help someone move from a place of chronic pain and discomfort to a place of normality, but also emotional freedom and hope. And the framework for this particular session is to highlight that the chronic pain, although it feels like the problem, in many cases is the symptom of the emotional circumstances. So you're going to hear a metaphor here of seeing a prickly, ugly cactus growing in a desert. And most people will say, well, yeah, that's where a cactus grows. You don't see a cactus growing in a forest. You don't see a cactus growing in a lush meadow. Cactuses grow in a desert. If the desert represents the emotions that represent things like anger or despair, resentment, bitterness, or even sadness, then you would say, well, in that kind of environment, a cactus could grow. But if the environment changed to joy and gratitude, hope, acceptance, and wonderful emotions, then you would say, well, if the environment is different, then the things that grow there would also have to be different. I think of all the pain hypnosis sessions that I've done, this could be the most metaphorical. And I think the nature of the language, although I was working with a client with a very specific pain-related issue, I think the broad nature of this metaphor means that if you are dealing with chronic pain and at some level, because sometimes you get this kind of loop that feeds on itself, that quite often pain leads to sadness and leads to a lack of hope and resentment and bitterness, because it's not good to feel in pain. But if the emotions cause the pain or the pain cause the emotion, it doesn't matter if it's the chicken or the egg, and it leads to an environment where it can self-perpetuate, the game can feel unwinnable. And what this session does is it can create a feeling of empowerment by starting to link the possibility that the pain is simply a symptom of the environment that it's growing in. You change the environment, you change the symptom, and what thrives in one environment can't survive in another. And I think this will be helpful if you've got chronic pain of any kind, and that doesn't have to be physical pain, it can be emotional pain. You can look at a lot of issues that many people are dealing with is ongoing, if you can call depression, ongoing sadness and despair over a long period of time. That can feel like unbearable emotional pain. So it's designed to help with those kind of things. If you feel like a bespoke session would be perhaps useful for you, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free consultation call. And equally, you can visit my website, adamcox.co.uk, to book a free consultation call to explore working with me. However, even though this session was created for someone in unique circumstances, again, because of the metaphorical nature of this, I think it might be useful and helpful. So the best way to get the most out of this session is to find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, to relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a slow, calm, resourceful breath of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel a wave of relaxation start to release feelings of tension. As you breathe in and breathe out, scan your body for any clues of tension. And maybe it's there in your jaw, tiny muscles in your forehead or around your eyes. Maybe the clue is the speed of your breathing. So as you breathe in and breathe out, give permission to release that tension. And imagine that as you release that tension, you're also releasing certain connections to the past. Some connections are linked to emotions that aren't conducive to the quality of life that you deserve. So as you release the tension, release the connection. Sometimes you don't need to forgive. Sometimes all you need to do is to release. And part of releasing is accepting. But accepting doesn't mean the past was right. It just means the past was. But was is different from is. And as you accept that the past is the past, you release it from the present. And notice how much easier it is to relax when you release yourself from the past. Breathing in, breathing out, feeling a wonderful transition. A transition to the possibility of a normal future. And sometimes you need to take one step back to take two steps forward. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a desolate, barren desert. Imagine being under intense, scorching heat. And imagine yourself standing in that vast desert. As you look around, the sands go on for miles and miles. I want you to feel the dryness of sadness, despair, and anger, almost like it's infused in the very grains of sand that you stand upon. Imagine picking up a handful of this dry sand and feeling this does not support life, energy, vitality. Feel the dryness, the heat in the sand, and then let it go. Release the sand, much like you would see grains of sand in a sand timer falling down. As you release the grains of sand, get a growing sense that you're releasing much more than the sand. You're releasing the sadness, despair, and anger connected to what the sand represents. And then nearby, notice a solitary cactus, an ugly-looking thing, shriveled and dry, but still existing and living in this barren wasteland. As you gaze at this desert, acknowledge these feelings. They are real. And recognize these feelings of sadness, despair, and anger, and maybe other feelings as well, as a part of your journey, but not your final destination. I want you to make the evaluation as you look at this dry, barren desert. Certain things grow here and certain things don't. And stare at this ugly, prickly cactus and realize that something like that needs the dryness of the desert, the sadness, anger, and despair infused in the sand beneath it in order for this cactus to survive. And if your unconscious mind intuitively knows that this cactus could not grow in lush green fields, it needs the desert to survive. Let me know by nodding your head. Sometimes we look at a symptom and assume it to be the problem. What if the problem is not the cactus, but the desert? If the desert changes, the cactus disappears. I want you to imagine, as you feel that you can accept the past, you see rain clouds start to gather over the desert. As you release any feelings of personal responsibility to the past, knowing you did the best you could with all the resources you had at the time, you can accept the past even if you don't approve of the past. The rain clouds start to gather even more. If you're willing to acknowledge the past, accept the past, but not be a slave to the past, let me know by nodding your head. And as you release and accept, notice rain start to fall. This desert is not used to rain, and yet you can feel the refreshing, soothing sensation of water on your skin. Imagine opening your mouth and feeling the raindrops on your tongue, and feeling these raindrops are magical in some way. The raindrops can bring life back to a desert, and feel a wonderful feeling that change is happening. Feel the gentle rain beginning to fall, softening the harsh desert landscape. And each drop represents a moment of happiness or gratitude entering your life. With each breath, feel this rain nurturing the soil of your mind, gradually transforming the harsh, barren desert into fertile ground. The desert is being transformed. The grains of sand turning into nutritious, dense soil. And see the cactus transform. Its spine softening, symbolizing the easing of pain or symptoms starting to dissipate. As the rain continues, witness small sprouts of grass emerging from the earth, each blade a symbol of hope and optimism growing within you. Feel the warmth of acceptance radiating from the ground, replacing the despair of the sand with this comforting warmth. Imagine the desert transforming into a field of lush green grass, representing a mind full of peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. As you breathe in and breathe out, inhale deeply, and with each breath, draw in the fresh scent of this new, vibrant landscape, letting it fill you with health and vitality. The once dry and arid land is now a fertile valley of joy and optimism, flourishing under the care of your nurturing thoughts. And imagine walking around barefoot in this now lush landscape. Each step you take in this meadow massages your feet with softness, echoing the gentleness you are cultivating within your heart. The sun shines brightly in your mind's sky, casting away shadows of doubt and filling you with a sense of peace and calmness. Imagine so much rain that a stream, which would have been impossible in the desert, now exists in this lush meadow. And as you hear the soothing sound of that nearby stream, its flowing water symbolizes the smooth flow of your thoughts, clear and unobstructed. Imagine you have a clean glass in your hand, and imagine scooping up the pure, clean water from this nearby stream. And as you imagine drinking the cool, clear, clean water, feel it soothing all sensations in your mouth. Just as the rain turned the desert into this lush meadow, imagine the stream water doing likewise to your mouth. Feel the breeze of serenity passing over you, carrying away any remnants of anger, leaving only tranquility in its wake. And as you barefoot walk through this field, notice how each blade of grass dances with vitality, reflecting your own growing strength and emotional resilience. And feel that these emotions that you've reawakened within you are honoring those people from your past that is connected to love, honor, and all the wonderful emotions that still exist within you. With each step, feel lighter, as if the burdens of the past are being absorbed by the earth, replaced with a buoyant sense of hope. And observe the harmony of this place, how every element coexists peacefully, mirroring the harmony that you are creating within yourself. The vibrant energy of this lush landscape pulses through you, synchronizing with your heartbeat, aligning your emotions with health and happiness. And then allow yourself to lie down in this field. Feel supported and cradled by the soft earth, enveloped in an embrace of comfort and safety. And I want you to bring someone back from your past, just in your imagination, to lie on the lush fields with you. Perhaps you could imagine holding their hand, and feeling that the wonderful emotional resources that existed within them are now transferring within you. But in the same way that when one candle lights another candle, nothing is taken from the original candle, feel the same thing is happening with you. You are absorbing the wonderful qualities and emotions, vibrancy, happiness and joy from the person next to you in this field without taking anything from them. Because accepting the past is accepting that lots of your past were filled with joy and smiles and laughter and wonderful feelings of gratitude. So connect with those wonderful feelings. Allow them to reignite within you. It's time to leave this lush meadow of green, soft, moist grass. And just remember that this lush field of emotional freedom is always available. And you can always imagine a desert turning into a field by accepting the past and cultivating the raindrops of emotion that allow change to happen. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're returning to the present, taking all these wonderful emotions with you. Notice the absence of a cactus and just the lush grass in the meadow that goes on for miles. Take that sensation, emotion, and acceptance with you into the present moment as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Feeling connected with the present moment, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, as very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling that you've let go and released a lot of anger, resentment, bitterness. The toxic poisons of the past have now disappeared, and you are willing to cultivate the wonderful raindrops to create the environment that wonderful sensations and a wonderful future will grow. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.